Quick video how to do the Hummer H3 brake replacement. This is an h3t, which is pretty rare, but it's going to be pretty much the same on the SUVs. So I'm going to show you how to knock this job out. I got a bunch of stuff to do, and I got to slam this out. So I'm not going to do everything exactly how I normally would, because I'm going to do this in like 15 minutes. I did the right side already. I'm doing the left. Check it out. The reason it's an emergency is this is my rear brake pad. It just started to hit the wear indicator, the squealer. That's why it looks a little shiny there in the corner if you just get a glimpse of it. But I got a ton of stuff to do, so I just need to slam this out. So with that being said, do all your safety stuff, like, you know, jack stands, all that. I'm not teaching you how to take a wheel off. I'm assuming you know how to do that. So we'll do this live. No edits. No retakes. Nothing. Now, my situation is a little different. I took my truck to work to do the brakes. I grabbed a big box that I ordered from Rock Auto. I thought the brake pads and the rotors were in the box. It turns out it was only the rotors. So, and I run spacers. Whole nother conversation. But the new rotors are already on. So if you're doing the rotors, the process is going to be similar. See, I got my big light here so you can actually see. The process would be very similar, except I'm not going to take this caliper bracket off right here. But if you did, you'd come back here to these 18mm bolts, like this one right here that's marked with the yellow mark. You pull those off so you can pull the whole caliper bracket. But I'm just going to focus on the brake pads. The rotors are pretty much the same, all vehicles anyway. So, okay, let's get the light where I want it so we can actually see. And that looks good. So I'm doing this super flat rate. I'm not even going to play around with a piston compressor, nothing. I had too much crap to do. So I'm coming in here and I'm going to just barely catch the rear brake pad, and I'm going to pry against the brake pad. I'm actually going to compress the piston like that. Sometimes I pry against the rotor. These are my new rotors, so I'm not going to do it like that. This one's fighting me a little, but super flat rado. So more of a how to DIY than a how to do it on the job at the shop if you're a reputable, you know, actual technician / mechanic. So I got it right where I need it. I'm literally just prying the brake pad. I'm not going to scratch the rotor. Compress that piston with the flathead screwdriver all the way. Now these rear pads actually wore pretty prematurely. So at this point, I want to feel how my caliper slides. And look at that, that caliper doesn't slide for crap. It's not that the piston was seized, because compressing it was easy, but I'm just now freeing that caliper up. So that's my cause for premature wear. Now, these are 14s. You crack these loose. And again, like, look up torque specs, do the torque wrench thing. It's not really the purpose of my video, so I'm going to say I'm going to snug everything down and torque it later. But this one's getting a good and tight. It's my own vehicle. I drive it at my own risk. I have quite a bit to lose. Okay, so I pull those. I'm going to pull this caliper. I'm just going to kind of like hang it up, kind of tangle it with the cable. I'm going to actually go under, set it on the leaf spring mount, the perch. So, shop brake pad. Shop brake pad actually was worn a little unevenly for sure because that caliper was sticking. So what I like to do, I just took this box, I just put the box under it, so the box is going to catch the dust. Organize my stuff a little. So check it out. I really like the Wagner OEX kit. I think they're an OEM supplier. It's a great brand. Here's part number for the rear. Right. So I'm going to set that down there. As you can see, the old ones are wasted. This is for something else. So I'm going to get these pads out. One-handed is not as easy as two-handed. And then it also comes with some new clips right here. And I'm going to pop those off. Super easy. Note the orientation of them. Got to make sure that they go back right. Pop them off right here. Okay, I swear I'll have to set the phone down here. And I'm checking your view. You can see pretty well. Just gonna angle it like that. Alright, so now a little more coordinated effort. Pry that off. Knock this off. At that point, I'm in California, so I'm spoiled. I did not grow up here. If this is rusty, gotta clean it. Mine's clean. So I'm gonna real fast, boom, slide that on. Now there's two sides of these. Like here's the new one. If you look, this side's really flat and this side kind of like comes out. The side that comes out needs to be away from the rotor. If you put the side that comes out towards the rotor, it's gonna contact the rotor. You'll get it all together and the rotor's gonna make horrific sounds as soon as you start going a few miles an hour. Now check it out. These guide pins I did last time, but they're just, you know, that grease didn't really work that well. It was caliper grease specifically. My real favorite is silicone, silicone 3M paste, but use something else on this. This one's got this little rubber bushing on the bottom, so the caliper doesn't make a chucking clunk noise when you brake. But this rubber is pretty swollen, so I'm gonna see if I can bring it back to life. So I'm gonna set that one down and pull the top one. That one was a little better. Cleaning all the goop off, because again, it was not moving very well, which caused my premature wear. And it was pretty rapid wear too. So I'm gonna take my brake specific grease, although I'm kind of not feeling this one. Like I said, I like the 3M silicone paste, but it's not what I have on me right now. Put a little on. The one with the rubber bushing is from the bottom, so this has no bushing to the top. All right, that feels good. Okay, that's a winner. Bottom one with the bushing I'm a little concerned about. This little rubber grommet. It can be trouble sometimes. If it gives me trouble, I'm gonna remove it. If you were to ask an engineer's gonna tell you it's absolutely critical, you gotta have it. If you remove it, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's already giving me trouble. So here's the thing. That gives you trouble, this is what you're supposed to do. You should really get a caliper bracket. That does not come with the brake kit. You should get a caliper bracket, and the bracket will come with the two guide pins ready to go. But for me, understanding, you know, I've done this on quite a bit of different things. I'm actually okay with taking it off. Any noise change is gonna be minimal. That's not a safety item. That's not gonna make your vehicle in any way compromised, other than you might get some noise when applying the brakes. And, you know, this baby, not really sweating it. All right, so the pads, I want to point something out. The wear indicator goes on the inside. And, okay, I do want to explain this. Look at that wear indicator. The wear indicator goes on the inside, and if you look at the rotation of the wheel, the rotor should always pull it towards the pad. So if I were to have it, you know, flipped, it would pull away from the pad. It would actually break it off as soon as it went metal to metal. So that's the general rule of thumb on all cars. But in this case, I'm on the left rear. It's coming right up on this side. So check it out. I'm gonna pop this in real quick. And now it depends on the condition, but sometimes I'll really lube these up good. But in this case, you know, it's been holding up pretty good. The actual pads were not in any way binding. It was those guide pins. So I'm not really going to make a big thing about this. You could put a little grease, a little grease, a little grease, a little grease. Some manufacturers even call for a little grease here and a little grease where the piston hits for additional quiet, you know, anti-squeal measures, as you'd say. Okay, so right from here, I got this where I want it. I got my guide pins straight. Now this caliper I got put on just how it came off, right, like this. Swing it in, push the guide pins in, grab my bolts, spin them up, spin, 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 spin. All right, and then look up your own torque specs. I'm doing my own thing here. So I'm snug. I will bet my life on it. And that's it. That one's really easy. Let me pause and let me jump to the rear, or to the front. All right, so knock it back out. Moving to the front now. Same thing, jack stands, do everything safe, okay? But that's not really what I'm set out to do. So this is what I got. I got the Wagner kit. Again, here's the part number for the front. And what I like about this kit, it comes with new pins. It comes with a new anti-rattle clip. And see these little retaining clips? It comes with those too. They're here in the bag. So I'm actually gonna dump that out. So I'll be ready in a minute. And the front brakes on this are the main reason I figured I'd even make the video. So as you can see, here's the rear for reference. Here's the front. They're weird looking. They're weird looking because this is a fixed 4-piston caliper. You may call it like Brembo style. That'd be, you know, like a slang term kind of. So this one's gonna be a little different. Let me get us positioned here. I may even see what we got. That'll probably be good. All right, so I'm gonna do the same trick. I'm really showing you the most basic of basic ways to do this without, you know, piston compressing and stuff. So I just gotta pry this a little against the rotor, really carefully, just to get it started. And again, I got new rotors on, so if you were gonna replace the rotors, let me show you how to do that in just a second. And generally, industry standard is to not pad slap stuff, meaning you don't just slam the pads on and not do anything with the rotors. You're gonna resurface the rotors, which I have videos on, because that's part of my job, but I don't resurface the rotors at home. I don't have a lathe, so your best bet, rotor's pretty inexpensive these days. I get some new ones. So check it out. I'm prying against the brake pad. I'm not prying against the rotor. I guess the edge of it touches the rotor, but I'm not really marring up the rotor. All right, I'm gonna pry that one back all the way. Now we need to do it again because there's another set of pistons on this side. And these are, in my opinion, superior caliper design for a few reasons. That problem in the back we had with the guide pins can't happen here because that rear rotor is a floating, or that rear caliper is a floating caliper. So we don't have to deal with the caliper having to float. The caliper stays fixed. The pistons have to float. All right, so this is pretty typical. I pried one pad back, and then I pried the other one back, and it pushed the first one forward. So I'm gonna shove something in there to prevent this pad from, this set of pistons pushing this pad back in. So that's a little tip for you. All right, so now I'm gonna compress the caliper again, and this time, this outer set of pistons will stay. Okay, good. Compressed. I recommend compressing it first. So I get the junk out of the way. Next step, this what's kind of funny. I always carry a little multi-tool on me, so I'm gonna utilize this. We gotta pop the little retaining clips out. Come in different shapes and sizes. And my box over here. So when I drop stuff, it catches it, including brake dust. All right, so pop these babies out. Okay, next step. This is cool. Pad. Get the pads kind of freed, and then pull the 2 pins. Boom. Drop them in the box, and then the pads will just slide out. Now I make a note of where this wear indicator is. I'm gonna set it down. Those rear pads are cool. You can always tell what was inner and outer because the inner leaves this ring, and the outer leaves these 2 little feet kind of outside part. As you can see, outer, inner on the back. But these look about the same because they're both getting 2 pistons. But I keep track of where the wear indicator was when I take it off. So the wear indicator's got to go on the inboard pad. Here's the inboard. This is how easy these are. Now again, some manufacturers recommend grease here, but part of the reason I recommend the Wagner OEX is they come with a nice bonded backing plate, or sometimes they'll call it like a shim, and they're already pretty noise resistant, ready to go. Now you notice I only pulled the clips that were on it. The last person who did these, which I actually had students do these like 5 years ago, they did a good job. But the kit we used from O'Reilly's didn't come with this. And I think the original one, this truck's, shoot, 13 years old, like 175K. The original ones had already been done, so that they didn't have the old clips, and the kit didn't come with the new clips. So another reason for me to plug the Wagner OEX. I'm gonna add this clip, and I'm gonna show you how it goes. So I got the two pads in. By the way, as promised, if you were going to try to pull that to change your rotor, let me show you. So this is really important. Okay, see this bolt and this bolt? Don't touch it. And this bolt and this bolt, don't touch it. Because if you do, it splits the housing, and there are O-rings that join the outboard to the inboard. Don't ask me how I know, but trust me, the bolts you want are down here, that bolt, that bolt. And by the way, those have a really high torque spec, so like, you know, I'm kind of playing the good and tight thing on the back, but those ones I absolutely would 100% torque every single time. They're like 100 foot-pounds, sometimes 80, sometimes 125. They're high. So you'd pull those bolts, you'd lift this whole caliper off. You'll definitely need a clothes hanger, a caliper hanger, a zip tie, something, because this caliper is chunky and heavy. And if you try to hang it from the hose, you'll trash your hose. Even if it doesn't rip the hose, it'll collapse internally or cause all kinds of damage. So anyway, back to how to do the pads. Now, because I'm zoomed in, I'm gonna verify. Yeah, you can see pretty good. A little. Yeah, that's good. All right, so these pins slide in, and I'm gonna slide them in temporarily, but I've got to figure that anti-rattle clip out, because remember, it didn't have it. So I'm gonna get these where they go. I'm gonna take a look at this, and I've seen enough of them to be able to figure this out, but with having no reference, it does make it a little tricky. All right, so if it was like that, that could work. Or if it was like that, that I think is even better. Okay, I think it's gonna go this way. Let me give it a try, and if it's right, you know, I'll confirm it. So the pin has to slide through it, and then this has to get kind of squeezed in, and then it has to slide through the other little loop. And then those, you know what? I think that's gonna be wrong. Okay, so do it other way. This, and this is what's really common. Like, it's, if you have these in place, take a picture. But if they're already gone, I'm gonna help you out. And when I'm done, it'll be right. But it's gonna be a little trial and error for me right now. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. Okay. Actually, yeah, that's gonna be correct. Check it out. So, as you can see, the pin goes through the hoops. Then these land on the edge right here, and this little tab has to get popped in. And the whole purpose is going to be, it's basically trying to spread these pads out all the time. So if I try to squeeze them, look, it's already trying to release them. It's not to release them. It's so that it won't rattle. If they're trying to release all the time, and the pistons are trying to squeeze them at times, but then when you let off the brakes, you know, it's basically going to keep that pad from wiggling around, and wiggling around is the squeak, right? The squeak is a high frequency vibration. So that's going to be the ticket with that one. Now, let me show you how to button it up. I'm going to knock this job out here. Okay, good. I'm just going to verify that this pin is not going to hit my rotor, or that little clip. It's not going to hit the rotor. Looks good. Yeah. Okay. Now, these are little, actually, these are pretty common. You see stuff like this. They go in to the pins, lock in, lock in. Some may come with slightly different styles. Just make sure whatever it comes with is going to keep it secure. Like the original ones were just a little different. It's all good. So once those are pinned in, that's it. I like to spin the rotor, make sure it doesn't have any, you know, anything that it's hitting or anything kind of weird. And we're going to be good on that one. So slide this way. So of course you're going to use torque specs and a torque wrench to get your 100 foot-pounds, but remember, I'm showing you just the way to knock it out. And I want to make a point about this. And these freaking tires are heavy, I'll tell you right now. 315/75s. They're a beast. So, in fact, I'm going to fib to you. I'm going to fib to you a little bit. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to buzz these down, star pattern, and tell you exactly what the heck I would do and what you should do and why. So, get all these set. Everybody's all anti-impact gun, but I'm not, and here's why. I'm going to guide this on. I'm going to make sure that the wheel engages the hub really nice. I'm just going to buzz them down. Right. Star pattern. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower it on the jack, and then I'm going to do the final torque to 100 foot-pounds. Here's why. I made a point of that. The theory, at least, the engineers will tell you, if you over-tighten the lug nuts, it'll tend to cause a deformation on the rotor. The rotor will end up with runout, lateral runout, and that'll give you your pulsation. So if you're hitting the brakes and your steering wheel's shaking, it's because you have runout in the front rotors. And if your whole butt of your seat, is shaking, it's probably in the rear. So that's the reason when I do this, I'm going to torque them to spec in the pattern. But that's not technical, so get busy here. Okay, all set, all four are torqued to spec, click, click. Last step you really need to do, pump your brake pedal. Goes to the floor, goes to the floor, goes to the floor, goes to the floor. So if I was in reverse right now, and I tried to brake before I hit my garage door, I'd have smashed through the garage door already. So I don't let anything go. I don't even walk away from the car until I've pumped the pedal. And look, now I got a good pedal. So, because there was a space between the pistons, the pads, really the piston pads, and the rotor, we have to pump that up gradually to take up the space. If you don't pump that thing, it's not going to stop the first several applications. So definitely do that. Now you're done.